Today, you're going to learn how to grow your social media following and why going viral in today's social media era isn't good enough for people to want to follow you. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. My name's Av. I was a physiotherapist and clinic owner for 10 years until I decided to sell off my practice after growing a following of over 350,000 people combined online. My mission now is to build the #1 digital health consulting company for health professionals and coaches globally after working with over 300 clients. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get into it. So if we rewind back 5 to 10 years ago in the social media space, followers and subscribers mattered a lot more. On Instagram, if you had a lot of followers, it allowed you to get verified. In this day and age, you can just pay for the verification badge. But back then, being verified meant something. On YouTube, having subscribers meant something. But now where everything has been TikTokified, where content now is posted out on a consistent basis every single day, thousands of content pieces online. All that really matters now is your ability to understand how to create good content that consistently gets engagement, regardless whether you have a big following count or whether you have a small following count. Now, while a bigger account might have bigger reach than a smaller account, I can show you so many YouTube channels, Instagram channels that have millions of people following that account, but very low reach and engagement on their content. And the reason why is because these content creators and these people on these platforms weren't able to adapt to the type of content that the algorithms want to see. So these are just a couple of clients of mine that I've worked with in my Limitless Circle mentorship. And I just want to show you how easy it is to get views, right? So for example, right, we've got 1 million views here. Let me change the color here. 1 million views here, 2.1 million views here, 1 million here, 155,000 views here. Now, getting views is easy. And when I say easy, if you understand what the algorithm wants to push out to an audience, then you're able to recreate that type of content over and over again. But the hard part in this new social media era is actually getting people to want to follow your account. And this is the reason why. Algorithms in this day and age are getting so good, to the point where your For You page on TikTok, where your recommended feed on YouTube, and your For You page on Instagram is so targeted to your interests, wants, based off your behavior of liking with posts, engaging and sharing, that most of the time you don't really need to follow a creator to see them again or to see some type of content that's similar to what interests you, right? So for example, on TikTok, I know many times that I've seen creators over and over again on my For You page thinking I was following them, when then I went onto their profile and realized I wasn't following them. And it's just because the For You page on TikTok was just knowing that I was interested in more of that type of content. And same thing with YouTube and same thing with Instagram. So what this is telling you now is algorithms are getting really good. And in the future, algorithms are gonna get even better, to the point where it's gonna be harder for people to want to follow you because their For You page and their recommended videos are just always on point. So what does this mean? So now we have to give a reason of why people should follow us, right? Because people don't have to follow us. When they see us online, to be entertained or educated, they can just open the Instagram app, YouTube, TikTok app, and then just get entertained and educated there and then, right? Or even just use the search bar. So we have to give them a reason. And this is where it becomes really important, right? So how do we give them a reason to follow, where we can grow our following count, on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, wherever we want to go? What is that reason? And the reason is connection. So what I've created here is a framework for us to go off. And it's gonna be storytelling, personality, and empowerment. And if you can include these 3 core pillars in your content pieces, it's gonna allow you to get people who just find your content on the For You page or recommended homepage and click that follow button straight after they watch your video, right? And we're gonna go into this one by one. We're gonna break this into pieces, right? So let's first go into storytelling. Actually, before we go into storytelling, let me show you the content framework first, right? So now this is actually pulled from my Limitless Circle mentorship, from my content code module. And this is where I go into how to actually create content that's gonna allow you to push content to the algorithm, allow you to get the views, reach, followers for your accounts, right? So this content framework, I just wanted to show you here, give you a quick overview first, is storytelling and personality, and empowerment is what we're gonna be focusing on today. But obviously there are other aspects to this content framework. But the reason why I wanna focus on storytelling, personality, and empowerment is because this is where a lot of, I guess you could say, creators or people online don't really touch on too much. Heaps of people create about topics about how to create a good hook, how to do a good pattern interrupt with changing camera angles and like XYZ, but very little people speak about storytelling, personality, empowerment, which I believe are the core principles into actually connecting with the audience, right? Because you want to build a purposeful audience, not just a random audience, right? So with that being said, taking from the content framework, we're going to go into storytelling first. Okay, So what is storytelling and how do we do it in our content? So I wanted to break this down in a super simple way for each and every one of you watching this video. So we're gonna break this down to 3 stages. Number 1 is normal, number 2 is explosion, and then number 3 is new normal, right? And what this essentially means is that in the normal phase, you wanna be able to describe a character. And why this is important is because a lot of us wanna relate to someone, right? The reason why we connect with someone is because we relate to them with their past experiences. We relate to maybe how they dress, how they are. And for you to be able to tell a powerful, engaging, connected story, the person watching it or reading it has to engage with the character. Think about all your favorite movies and all the main characters that are in those movies, how much investment you have emotionally to however their journey looks like throughout the whole movie, right? And the reason why is because they've built up relatability with that character. So your first point with storytelling in your content pieces, whether it's talking head, whether it's a 7 to 10 second montage reel, is to identify who is the character that you're portraying in your content and how can you make that character relatable to your specific audience. So if you're someone who is in the fitness space, who you're helping people lose 10 kilos in 10 weeks, right? That character that you put forward in your content has to be someone who's battling with the struggles of being overweight, battling with the self-confidence or the self-doubt and the lack of confidence being overweight, right? You have to make sure you communicate that clearly and effectively to your audience with your content so they understand the character that you're speaking about. Now, once you understand that, once you share that character to your audience, and the best way to do that is share the character's struggles, right? Share the character's current situation. Where do they live? How old are they? Are they married? Are they not married? Like, how can I give details that someone can watch this and be like, yes, that is me as well. Once you identify that character, your next thing is actually then to take that character into the explosion. Or as some of you might see this in other, I guess, videos that talk about storytelling, is the climax, right? But I like to call this explosion. So essentially, you're describing the character, what they're currently doing, and them leading into a problem or some turning point in their life where things get really interesting and that changes, or that specific moment changes their whole life or their whole perspective. So for this person who wants to lose 10 kilos in 10 weeks, the way that you're gonna build up the story is that you're gonna build up the story to one moment, right? To one explosion. Sorry guys. You're gonna bring up this, take the character to one moment, one explosion. So what that could look like is maybe him going to a party on a Saturday night and being laughed at by everyone in the party because maybe as he was dancing, maybe his white shirt became like sweaty and people were able to see through it, or whatever else that looks like. Explain that one moment. And what that allows you to do is to build up hype and the climax towards one point where the audience is starting to get invested. They're starting to see the struggle and the main challenge. And then once you're able to build them up to that point, you then show them what is the pivot point for that character, right? So when he did have that moment, what did he do to then change his life? So he went to the gym after the next day, and then for the next 70 days, he was able to go to the gym, eat properly, and then he came back to the same party in a week later, came back to the same party 6 months after, and was the most jacked guy there. And instead of guys laughing and pointing at him, he had the girls looking at him because now he's attractive, more confident, XYZ, more self-esteem. So you can see how that storyline kind of takes its own route, right? We start with a normal person and we identify that character and we identify their struggles and situation. We build that story up to one moment that makes them realize they have a big problem or a challenge in front of them. We talk about how they got over that problem and challenge. And then from there, we then identify, or we then communicate what that new normal now looks like after they've made that change. So new normal being the fact that he's now going to parties and having girls look at him instead of guys pointing and laughing, right? And when someone is able to be invested in someone's story in that sense, where they understand where they started, the struggle that they've overcome, and where they ended, that allows people to then want to take action with that person or be able to be more emotionally invested with that character, with that person. And you can see if you interject storytelling into your content, the action that you want your viewers to take, whether it's to follow your content, whether it's to download this free resource, whether it's to join your program or buy your products, they're more emotionally invested because now they're part of the story. They see themselves in your story, right? And this is why storytelling is so important. So 3 simple stages: normal, explosion, new normal. Take a character through all 3 stages and implement that into your content. Secondly, personality. Now this is a question that I find a lot of people struggle with, a concept that a lot of people struggle with. A lot of the health professionals that I work with at the very start, always ask, health professionals and coaches always ask, what are the, how do I interject my personality? Like, what does that mean? Should I be funny? Should I be, crude? Should I be, like, what does personality mean? So in really simple terms, personality is how can you show someone in camera or in front of the camera, how can you show someone what you like and what you don't like? So for example, right, if you're eating pineapple with pizza, then you're the pineapple with the pizza type of guy. And people now categorize you as a pineapple with pizza guy. And people generally who have pineapple on their pizza have these certain traits and characteristics, right? So the way I like to split this up is showing your environments, right? Showing your, oh, I deleted that one. Showing your environments, showing what you wear, language, humor. So what this means by environments is that film in places that make you feel excited, film in places that you naturally like. So don't try to film in places to make yourself look a certain way. If you enjoy filming in your room like this, film in your room. If you enjoy filming outside, film outside. Don't film in certain areas just because you think you have to look a certain way. Because, for example, this person here, JP Copeland, if you look him up on Instagram, his environment is the same in every single video. And he's got this certain vibe to him, right? Like the environment in itself, you can already tell what type of person this guy is. He's a chill dude, he's aesthetic, he knows how to like, you know, it's a very calming relationship that you have with him when you watch his videos. The environment already sets some sort of mood, it makes you feel something, right? So that's number one, environment. Number two, what you wear. Now, what you wear is huge. So for example, with Hormozi, he always wears tank tops in his videos. And what this essentially shows is that he's someone who goes to the gym, ripped dude, big dude, right? And you can probably see from his muscles. And that in itself already tells you that this guy, you know, personality-wise, he doesn't say anything. He probably goes to the gym. He's pretty serious about his gym. Therefore, he's probably serious about his nutrition. Maybe he's probably super disciplined. Maybe he's super focused on his goals and achievements, right? He's really good with his commitments, right? And you can see all of this assumptions that come purely just from what he's wearing, right? And this is also the same for you. Wear what you like to wear. Don't think that you have to wear a polo or a t-shirt or whatever in front of the camera because you have to look a certain way. Wear what you like to wear. Some people who wear hats, some people who wear beanies, some people who don't wear hats or you have long hair, whatever, like show what you enjoy to wear. And that in itself can give the vibe already to people who are watching to assume what type of person you are, right? If Hormozi, for example, was wearing JP Copeland type of clothes, you can see with JP Copeland straight away, I know he's a fashionable dude. With Hormozi, I'm not thinking that this guy's a fashionable dude because of what he's wearing. I'm thinking that he's a gym buff, he's with his nutrition, he's really dedicated to his goals, X, Y, Z. But with JP Copeland, with what he's wearing, I just see someone who's super fashionable with what he chooses, right? He's the hats that he wears, the colors, he knows how to kind of like vibe with the right kind of like, you know, textures. Again, personality, right? And this all ties in. Language. For those of you who may or may not know Spanian, big YouTuber in Australia, right? The language that he uses is very different to your everyday people, you know? He uses cuz, he uses very street slang, you know, he was in prison, I think for like 10 years. But his type of language attracts people who are attracted to that type of language. And that's also part of his personality because someone who's speaking in this language, you're probably thinking, oh, maybe he had a bit of a maybe rough upbringing, right? Because only, you know, there's street slang in there that people who aren't from the streets don't really speak or understand. And again, this gives you a take onto what his personality is like. So you can probably already see with these just kind of like three factors up here, environment, what you wear, and language, people can already tell what type of person you are, what type of vibe you are, what type of personality you have. And that in itself is literally just coming back to authenticity. And a really good one as well is humor, right? Add humor into your content because humor is a really good indication of whether someone has the same humor as you or they don't. Imagine going to a party and someone telling you jokes for the whole night and you don't find them funny. You're probably not gonna spend time with that guy at the party. You probably want to move somewhere else to find someone who's actually funny, right? So humor as well, add humor into your content. And this all in itself is what adds to personality in your content. And these are just some factors that you can think of or integrate into your content when you are creating your next content piece. Right? So storytelling, we've got personality, and now we got empowerment. Now I've got Big Yoda over here, the OG. And the one thing I want to get across here is that I want you to be the guide, not the hero. And what that means, a lot of times we try to be the hero. And when I say we try to be the hero, we try to portray our lives in this highlight reel. We try to show everyone that we're living the dream life or this and that. But the thing is that if you just keep positioning yourself as the hero, your audience can't see themselves as the hero of their own story. So instead of you positioning yourself as a hero, I want you to position yourself as a guide, right? I want you to position yourself of This is what I've been able to achieve, so you can do that too. If I was able to do this, then you can do that too. Your ability to be a guide for someone allows them to see their own hero story for themselves. Because when you portray yourself as a hero, you start to, in people's mind, you start to compete with the finite resources, whether it's financially, time, location, freedom, whatever that is. If you position yourself as a hero, people think you're competing against them. What you want to do instead is you want to be the guide. Be the Yoda, right? Be the Yoda with your content, where people, after they watch your content, they feel like they can conquer the world. When they watch your content, they feel like, yes, if you can do it, then I can do it, right? And empowerment leads to inspired action. And this is what people need and want to actually change their life. They want inspired action. Now imagine that you're scrolling on your Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube now, and you're watching content pieces going viral, right? Memes or whatever else. But then you come across a content piece that has storytelling in it, right? You imagine you find a content piece that speaks about someone who you can relate to. Maybe that person is exactly who you are, with the same struggles, the same situation, with the same goals and the same challenges. And then after you understand who that character is, you start to see the person or the content piece, you start to see what their personality is like. And their personality is someone you'd actually vibe with in a real life basis, right? And then thirdly, at the very end of that content piece, they inspire you to take action. Now, tell me that you would not click into his profile, have a look more of his content, and hit that follow button, right? I just want you to envision of what that would feel like when you watch that person's content, when they have storytelling, personality, empowerment, where you can truly relate to them, right? And these are essentially the three aspects that all you need to do in your content is to integrate, and you will start to get people hitting that follow button, right? Because again, like we said, we need to give people in this new social media era a reason to follow, because the algorithms in itself are so good already. These algorithms are already giving people what they want on every single day. And these algorithms are only getting better. But what these algorithms can't do is connect, and that's where you come in. And this is what happens when you have connection with your audience through your content. When you have storytelling, personality, and empowerment. You get 3,219 people following you based off one reel. And this week, this is all I want you to focus on. I want you to post at least once every single day and add these three concepts and these three core pillars into your content pieces and watch everything change for you. So if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. We're here to build the #1 digital health consulting company for health professionals and coaches. I'd love for you to join the journey and be on the journey with me if you'd like. There's more details down below if ever you want to find out more about what I do. Otherwise, thank you so much. Much love, and I'll see you in the next video.